Hi guys, welcome to McKola TV. This is another MUFC transfer talk. A bit of a random one, a bit of a positive one, given the negative week or so that Manchester United fans have had. Well, I'd say it's positive for most that I speak to anyway, in that Anthony Martial looks set to sign a new Manchester United contract that is at least according to the guys at the Times. And they say he is set to sign a 5-year deal. Now, what this means for Jose Mourinho's relationship with Ed Woodward, Mourinho and Martial, all that stuff, we'll discuss a little bit later. But I want to split this video into two parts because I think it deserves to be. Because, you know, all the negative side to it, which has come out in the press today, which is, what does that mean for Mourinho? I want to look at the positive of it first, because it is mainly a positive thing that a player like Anthony Martial is set to stay at Manchester United. Now, hopefully this happens and we get official news that a deal is done. But the rumours at the moment from the Times, who are usually reliable, is that he's set to sign a new 5-year deal. And this comes after months of speculation. Months and months of speculation that will he stay, won't he stay, where's he going to go, what's going to happen. And now it looks like he could stay and sign a 5-year deal as well. Now, many people may be skeptical and say this means United guarantee they can get a bigger transfer fee for him in the event that he does leave. But I think it just means that it's an end to the saga, and we need to see an end to this saga. We need to see Martial focusing on his football, getting his head down, looking to gain consistency, looking to get that first team spot and make it its own, and become the player we all have seen glimpses of over the last couple of years. We want to see that happen. And if he signs a long-term deal, that means his head is focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's Manchester United. And we need to see that. And it would be great to see an end to this saga and a positive end to it as well. I want to read some of your comments on the news, so I'm going to be diving into the comments very, very soon as well. But keep your thoughts coming in here on this MUFC Transfer Talk stream, given the Times report today that Anthony Martial is set to sign a 5-year deal. Now, Tappy says he needs to be more consistent. Atil says it's brilliant news. Let's see what else the comments are coming through. There's loads of comments on other things as well, but I want to keep the comments mainly on Anthony Martial. Just stop with the Martial saga. When he trains and plays well, he will start to play, says Sean. Awesome news, says Pratik. Hassan says he can't hear me. I'm guessing he's the only one because nobody else has said it in the comments. Tony Martial dropped again, says 24. Tony Martial scores again, says Harrison. And the Times are saying Tony Martial is set to sign again at Manchester United and sign a new 5-year deal. What does that mean for Jose Mourinho's relationship with the player? Is it a sign that the relationship with the player is healed? Is it a sign that Anthony Martial and Mourinho are seeing things on the same wavelength? Is it a sign that they're ready to focus on one thing and one thing only, and that is Manchester United? Hopefully so. But the Times are reporting that Martial is set to sign a 5-year deal because he's confident he will see Jose Mourinho out of the club. He will outlast Jose Mourinho at Manchester United. Now, for a young player at 22, I don't think it's an unreasonable thing to think that he will outlast the manager. But it's obviously worrying when you hear these kind of things when contracts are getting signed. Because what does that say for Jose Mourinho's position at the club? Now, we've had a lot of discussion about this over the last couple of weeks. And Ed Woodward and Jose Mourinho obviously have come in for a lot of criticism. Jose Mourinho seemingly spoken of, you know, the board failing to meet his needs in the transfer window. And whether selling Anthony Martial was one of those, may be a move from Ed Woodward to show that he's got the power. And if that's the case, then the writing is on the wall for Jose Mourinho, because there's only so long a relationship like that can go on. But like I say, it could also, me trying to be the optimist and trying to be the look on the positive side, it could also be a sign that Jose Mourinho has settled his differences with the player. It could also mean that. But this is what the article is behind a paywall, and I haven't paid for the time, so I can only read what I can read. It says Anthony Martial is considering signing a new long-term contract at Manchester United because he believes he can outlast Jose at the club. United have offered a new 5-year deal to Martial and are hopeful that the Frenchman will sign it, even though Jose Mourinho does not want the forward at the club. Despite the public backing of the board, Mourinho's position will come under scrutiny if United lose. See, so there's a lot of conjecture in this. Now, it may just be these guys have heard the deal's on the table. Martial may be about to sign a new deal, and then have added these different layers to it. Because of the fact that United have lost their 2 games, there's a lot of question marks over Jose Mourinho's future, and that Burnley game does take on a little bit more significance, doesn't it? It's a big game for Manchester United. Martial Lukaku duo, says Roshane. We could see something like that if we played a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2 going further forward. It was interesting the way we played against Spurs. I thought we played okay in the first half. Obviously, the result was a disastrous result for Manchester United. But in the first half, the way we played with Herrera kind of occupying a third centre-back position, it was interesting to see now. You wouldn't want to see Ander Herrera playing his third centre-half position regularly. And I think the signs that we needed to sign a centre-half have shown clear in the last couple of games. Bailly and Lindelof were awful against Brighton. Smalling and Jones weren't much better against Spurs, and we need to improve in that defensive area, like we say with the likes of Anthony Martial, Romelu Lukaku, Alexis Sanchez, Jose Mourinho, even Paul Pogba needs to find a way to get the best thing out of these players, because it's only beneficial for Manchester United. But at the same time, we need to get a solid defence. Luke Shaw's shown very, very positive signs, and it was nice to see that embrace between him and Mourinho at the end of the game. But Luke Shaw showed signs that he could be the man at left back. We need other players to step up in various positions. Obviously, Valencia as captain seems to have that position sewn down at right back. Who's going to step forward at centre half? That remains to be seen. But I think the fact that we didn't sign a centre half, as I said at the time, is coming back to haunt us. But this news today is all about United in attack. Anthony Martial is seemingly set to sign a new 5-year deal at Manchester United. Ed Woodward seemingly not keen on letting Anthony Martial leave the club. Many clubs have been interested in the player and tried to sign him from Manchester United, but we haven't let him go, despite the fact it seemed obvious to some that Jose doesn't fancy him. Now, is this a sign they've patched that up? Is this a sign that it's the writings on the wall for Jose Mourinho? What do you guys think in the comments below? All I will say on this matter though is Anthony Martial staying at Manchester United is great news, because this boy has fantastic talent. Now we need to see it consistently. We've seen glimpses of it, and over the last couple of years, I think since Sir Alex Ferguson left, only Juan Mata has scored more goals for Manchester United. He's scored an awful lot of goals for the club. He's shown glimpses, I think, last season up until January when Alexis Sanchez arrived and he started not being selected. He was fantastic. He got a couple of player of the months, a couple of man of the matches. He got double figures in goals and assists. I think he had a good season up until January. We need to see that for a full season. If we see it for a full season, there's no way anyone can drop this boy. But he needs to get in that team. He needs a little bit of confidence. And the way Jose is with Shaw, we need to see that with other players at times as well. Maybe he can conjure the best out of them. Or maybe, like some of you guys in the comments, you just think this is the end of Jose. Times telling lies, the media trying to poison their relationship between the manager and the player. This is a sign, says Rifleman. This is a sign that Zidane is coming, says Bishal. What have I missed? Adam, says Silver. For you guys that are joining us late, the Times are reporting that Anthony Martial is set to sign a new 5-year contract at Manchester United. They say the offer is on the table from the club and he's seemingly set to sign the deal. They also go on further to say that he's signing the deal with the view to outlasting Jose Mourinho. So they're trying to spin it on its head that it means the writings on the wall for Jose Mourinho. But I'm not. Look, I'm sick of the negativity about our manager. I'm sick of negativity around the club. And when I get a bit of good news like this, I'm not looking to focus on that, man. Whatever will be, will be. But what do we think about Anthony Martial staying? If that is true, if that comes through and we see Anthony Martial sign a new 5-year deal, would you be happy? Would you be sad? What do you think? Habiba says Martial loves United, and that's an interesting thing. Like, I've heard a lot of people criticising Anthony Martial, saying he needs to show that he cares, shows that he wants to sign for Manchester United, show that he wants to play for Manchester United. And if it is the case that Jose Mourinho doesn't fancy this player, and if Martial is saying, I'll still sign a deal in the hope that eventually I'm going to come through here and I'm going to play, that shows that he does, want to be here. So I think that's a good sign as well. Even if like him and the manager aren't getting on and he's signed this deal, it's a good sign, I think. Martial should be tried up front, says Chris. Martial FC is back, says the other one. Best news ever, says Nima. I hope he stays because he's a good player with a lot of potential, says Bar. Samoan85 says, I'm so happy. Yes, he loves United. If Martial stays, that would be the best thing for him and the club, says Manny Plays. And I think that is the ultimate thing that we need to say right now. It's the best thing for him, best thing for the club. Is it the best thing for the manager? What does it say about the manager at this moment in time? I'm not sure. But I'm delighted that Anthony Martial is staying at Manchester United. If the Times report is true, let's not get carried away yet. It's obviously not official. It's not come through that it's official yet. But there you go. He wants to fight for his spot, says Bad Brad. And maybe this is a sign that Martial is ready to fight for his spot. Too much hit and miss. Sell him, says Des. Coming with an alternative view to Anthony Martial. One that I don't agree with personally, but one that I have to read out because it's in the comment. And I'm going to read all of the comments regardless. Paul says my chat's not working. I'm guessing it is because I've just read your comment out. Now all we need is Pogba to sign a new deal, says Dion. I don't think he's at the point where he needs to sign a new deal, although his agent is probably angling for that. Give him game, says Nima. He wasn't in the matchday squad against Tottenham. You'd expect him to be in the matchday squad against Burnley. If he is, hopefully he can get on that pitch and prove a point, and that he should be starting if he doesn't start this next game. Martial has to play down the middle as part as a 2. He's not a winger and he's wasted there, says Jacob. You may think that, but I think he's done alright from out wide. I don't think he's been too bad. Like I said, only Juan Mata scored more goals for the club in his time here. So, he gets goals from there. I just think he needs a bit of confidence. He needs a run in the team. And we haven't really seen Martial given 10 games starting in a run. And I think if you get that, you'd get performances from him. And some will say, he's not consistent. But we've seen other players that have shown inconsistencies, that have had bad performances, that still continue to start week in, week out. I mean, Romelu Lukaku had a dip in form last season. Alexis Sanchez, Chris Smalling, Nemanja Matic had a dip in form. There's a lot of players that have had dips in forms and have still continued to keep their place in their team and given a run of games and given that confidence that you're going to be selected next game. And I think Anthony Martial is someone that showed last season that he kind of deserves that run. When him and Rashford were being rotated, I think he was showing at that point that I think when him and Rashford were being rotated, Jose Mourinho got it spot on with the handling of those two. When Sanchez came, things changed. I think we need to see a balance in the team. I think we need to find that balance where everyone can get minutes and everyone's happy. And that's the manager's task to do that. But I think Anthony Martial, when he played last season, more often than not, he showed that he deserved at least a run in the game, in the team. And I think when people bring that consistency argument, you've seen a lack of consistency throughout our whole team. We need minutes for the likes of Martial and Rashford. Victor thinks Martial with Shaw behind him equals 25 goals. De Gea needs a new deal. We've heard a lot of rumours about David De Gea signing a new deal as well, but yet he hasn't signed a deal. That's why I say take this with a little bit of a pinch of salt at this moment in time, because although it is a positive report and although it comes from the Times, who very rarely lie and stuff like, although most newspapers do tell misinformation, let's wait for official confirmation before we start getting excited. But it does look like he's going to be here for this season anyway, because United haven't sold him. Mike Hunt, that name, I know it's a play on words. Contract for Martial shows how the board sees Mourinho's future. Shaw was amazing, a breath of fresh air, says Rachel. And I think Luke Shaw has shown that a player that maybe wasn't fancied by the manager can turn things around. Even though Manchester United had lost that game and lost that game badly, I think Luke Shaw was probably the only one to come out of it with his head held high. I didn't think Fred was too bad in the first half, but I think Luke Shaw had a very good game, and I think he did all right. Manchester United need to stick together, says Habiba. Jose said that David will sign, says Adam. Jose looking to fix up. Is full-time Devils the new... We will never be them, guys. We will always be full-time Devils and do things in our own way. Rahil said... Sorry, Anurag said, I don't know why, Adam, but I feel the Sanchez signing for us was the start of all the problems. I may be wrong. I feel like it was the Sevilla game where things started to take a real negative turn. But that's just my opinion. Jack Brown says, at least full-time Devils aren't saying Jose out. Now, what I would say is, I don't think anyone said that on the weekend. But what I would say is, like, if one person on a fan camp says Jose out, that doesn't mean full-time Devils is Jose out. If I say Jose in or Jose out, that doesn't mean full-time Devils or Jose out. If Steve says Jose in or Jose out, or Martial should be sold or Martial should stay, it doesn't mean full-time Devils is not representative of one opinion. Full-time Devils is representative of multiple opinions. Now, obviously, I'm on there quite a lot. I've been on there for 5.5, 6 years. So, fair enough, like, people may think, oh yeah, Adam, and then kind of call it full-time Devils. And I kind of get that sometimes, but you've got to distinguish that. Full-time Devils does not represent one person. We represent as many Manchester United voices as possible. Now, we try to do things in a respectable way. We try to do things, in a respectable... That's all I will say. We try to do things in a respectable way, but we're not representative of one opinion. And one person may say Jose in. One person may say Jose out. One person may go on a mad rant. One person may not go on a rant. But full-time Devils isn't one of those. So that's what I'm just saying. We're all of those. But we don't want to look like Arsenal fans. Rahil says Martial has the potential to be world class. He just needs a run of games. Lukaku could be dropped, but honestly none of our attackers are able to produce the goods right now, says Daniel, with a more damning verdict of our attack. Habibo says he's Jose in. Rahil says, what are my thoughts on Zidane potentially managing Manchester United? Now, while Jose is in a job, I'm not really thinking of alternative managers for Manchester United. Now, Zinedine Zidane, absolutely fantastic Champions League record in the league. Did he really do it? Could he have done better with that team? Maybe so. So I'm a little bit undecided on Zinedine Zidane. Obviously, he'd have good things, he'd have negative things, but I haven't thought about it, and I don't think it's a necessary guaranteed fix. I don't think there's any guaranteed fix. I think we all thought Jose Mourinho would come in and probably have won the league by now, and he hasn't. So there's no guaranteed fix unless you're bringing Fergie back. Road to 55,000. Let's go, says Epic HDZZ. Yes, we are. How many is that? 775 away from 55k. Get subscribing, get liking, get sharing. Calagio says he wants to stick with Jose. Lukaku is worse than Bellion, says Fresh Air. No, he is not. The Champions League is looking bad for us in the way we are right now, says Chris. The Champions League draw, by the way, is tomorrow. We'll find out who Manchester United have in their group stages. We're in pot 2, so we could potentially get one of the big guns. Looking forward to it. Always look forward to the Champions League group stage draw. Cannot wait for it. Cannot wait to be at the games. Hopefully our Champions League run is better than it was last season, and we can have some very, very good nights at Old Trafford. Guys, remember, we've got so much more content coming for you this week on Adam McKola TV, as well as on Full-Time Devils as well. I'm back on the radio tomorrow on XS Manchester, Thursdays 6 to 7 p.m. on XS Manchester and Full-Time Devils, so make sure you phone in if you can do that. But I'm on Adam McKola TV and Straight Up as well, which is my new channel with Dean. The link is in the description below to subscribe. We've got a new series coming up called Straight Up Sports, which I'm really excited about. Remember the Weird Wide Web, which I used to do on here? That's going to get moved over to Straight Up as well. The podcast is going to continue on Straight Up. I'm meeting up with the United Road podcast boys next week, and we're going to do another podcast. And again, we're doing the United Road podcast monthly. Maybe I'll do a live stream while I'm there too, but loads going on, and that's as well as the live preview for the Burnley game, maybe a match day vlog, loads as well. I haven't got a ticket yet, so I need to sort that out, but that's what's going on here on Adam McKola TV and on Full Time Devils and everywhere else as well. Hopefully we can win the Champions League, says Denchman Joe with his optimistic view on thing. Billy R thinks the players are in charge. Mourinho expected to win the league with the one first team signing. Pep needed rid of all the Ed Woodward and replaced it with quality. Glazers out, says Jay Marche. I will never say anything bad about anyone who says anything anti-Glazer. I love it. Glazers out always, and not just because we never got the transfer signings we want, or we haven't won the league in 5-6 years. Glazers out forever. Some people getting on Lukaku's back in the comments as well, which I find incredible really. He was very good for Manchester United last season. I think we just got to lay off him. I think he should be subject to the same rotation as everybody else, and when he's playing badly, he gets rotated on the bench and whatnot. But he's still a very good goal scorer. He still gets goals, and I think it's unfair to turn on him a little bit. Stick by him. He got us a lot of goals last season, and if we create chances for him, he will get goals for us this season as well. Yes, he's missed a few this season already, but stick behind him, man. Let's not start turning on players like that straight away. Like, what the hell, man? Come on. Anyway, guys, the news. The Times are reporting Anthony Martial is set to sign a new 5-year deal at Manchester United. Nothing official yet, but if that is true, absolutely fantastic news for me, for the rest of Martial FC, for Manchester United, of course. Let us know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. What does that mean about Mourinho, Martial, Woodward's relationship? Get your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to Adam McKola TV. We're on the road to 55k. We're on the road to 100k. I want to hit it by the end of this year, so get subscribing. Loads more coming your way. And for now, I'm Adam McKola. I'm out of here.